Hi, this is Shantara McBride. I'm the founder of Marvelous University, where we offer life coaching and success planning for young people, specializing in leadership development for girls and young women. And I wanted to take this time to talk to a special group of people, and that's young people. The past few days, I've been in dialogue with some parents around how to talk to teenagers about the unfortunate act of racist terrorism that happened in Charleston, South Carolina. And instead of me giving adults like 7 rules or, 5 ways, I thought it best that I come directly to you and give you 3 quick tips on how to talk to the adults in your life around Charleston, South Carolina. Now, I know it's been a few days, but I don't want to assume that you've been brought into the conversation. So here's tip number 1. Initiate. That's right. You start the conversation. And it could easily be something where you say, "Hey, Charleston, let's talk about it." I guarantee you that will get the adults around you. That'll let them know that you're ready. See, oftentimes adults and parents, we don't know if you're ready for a conversation. We don't want to scare you. We don't want to rush you. We don't want to alarm you. And so we tend to wait. And we do that on big, heavy stuff like drugs and sex and driving and curfew and now Charleston. But I know that you want to be a part of the conversation. I know that you want to contribute to changing our world. And so it's important that you're a part of the conversation. So in a case like this, you may have to just initiate it. That's right. Start it. All right. So tip number 1, initiate. Tip number 2, investigate. Now, when I say investigate, I mean ask questions. You can say something like, "Hey, I know it's 2015, but does this seem like 1955 to y'all?" Or you could ask about, "Hey, how do you feel about gun control? And what's all this talk now about the Confederate flag?" It's little things like that, well, they're actually big things, but it's little things like that that will get the adults around you to know that you're really ready for some real talk, not some fluffy stuff, that you want to know some answers. And this also means that you don't have to agree with everything, but you get in the practice of having dialogue so that when you become the change makers and the policy makers, you've already had great practice. So tip number 1, initiate. Tip number 2, investigate. And finally, tip number 3, inspire. Now, I know you're like, "Shantara, wait a minute. You want me to initiate, you want me to investigate, but be an inspiration?" Yeah, exactly. And I say that because there's no way that you're going to have a conversation with an adult around this and they're not inspired to do something. So you inspire them to do something. You could say something like, "Hey, can we donate to Emmanuel's AME Church?" Or, "Is there something we can do in our local community to make sure acts like this stop?" Or when you go back to school in the fall, this will be a great time to sit down with your principal and say, "Hey, what are we doing in our school to make sure that everyone is treated with dignity?" So yeah, inspire. So I won't hold you too much longer. I just wanted to give you 3 quick tips. So tip number 1, initiate. Tip number 2, investigate. And tip number 3, inspire. So go out there and be marvelous. You're not alone. We're here with you. We invite you to the table, and we can't wait to hear what you have to say. Take care.